Hello, I'm River. I used to do patch note analysis and VOD reviews in the Deadlock Discord before the content restriction was lifted. This style of video is partially inspired by Purge's patch note analysis videos on Dota. There were some audio issues while recording, so I've skipped over parts of the patch referencing sound effect changes. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or criticism, please leave them in the comments below. I've also left timestamps to all the different sections of the video in the comments below. Added a new profile page that displays a breakdown of recent matches and an all-time player and hero statistics. Note the newly added stats souls collected and healing are started at 0 for all players. So we go to the profile, we actually see here, shows all your hero stats. And these are the new stats we're talking about, healing and souls collected. It's pretty cool that they added this. And they changed like very recent matches. Looks very nice. I think the colors, the blue and amber, is what team you were on. I like the UI. It's really clean, and it's weird that your feet are ghost-like though. And then this page is kind of nice. I don't like that it's like left to right down. It kind of feels weird because when I first looked at this, it was just I went straight down, and yeah, it just confused me a bit. It's my only feedback on that. Report button to escape on menu on player list to allow reporting of teammates in game. That's good because it was hard to actually like remember to report people. So if you report people in game, like as soon as they like call you a bad word or start harassing you, it's nice. Or if they're just griefing the game. Improved visibility of report button on post game screen. That's good. I feel like a lot of people didn't even know you could. Like if you go into a game, you like hover over down here. I guess I can't because it was yesterday, or I'm not in the lobby. But it was like right below the person. You can now drag and drop items between build categories and builds. That's such a good change. It was so annoying to have to like manually swap things between categories. If I had guessed, you can just do this now. Yeah, it feels much more intuitive, and I assume that they wanted to do this when they originally did it, or maybe an oversight. That's really nice. Added search to the public builds list. You can now search by keyword within build names. That'll be nice because this eventually is going to get really long, and if you can't search for a specific build that you're trying to try out, then it'll be very bad. Newly published hero builds now store the language of the build. That's good. And you can show the languages. Checkbox in public build list can be unchecked to see builds only in your language. Also good. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to understand a Russian or Chinese build. Like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. Because I speak English. Fix issue with builds list not updating when changing between heroes in sandbox. Okay, I remember this. If you changed heroes before, like this, you would have to manually, it would show nothing. You have to refresh it to like see the builds list, but now you can actually see it beforehand. Added localization support for German, Polish, and Korean. That's good. Matchmaking window is now open for 1 hour earlier on weekdays and weekends. Very nice. Can play more. Players can only pause once per game. A team can only pause at most 3 times in total amongst all the players. The game application window now flashes when the game is unpaused. I think this is an okay change, but I don't like it that much. I mean, I come from Dota, so you can just pause every like 5 minutes for every person in that game, I think. And I don't know, in my experience in this game, people aren't pausing, but it probably happened a lot in like newer lobbies. People were just doing it to grief people, and they probably just put this as a fix. I don't like this as a change because I think this will still impact even in custom game lobbies. So if you're trying to, for instance, like pause because like someone crashed, someone needs to get water, use the restroom, or like in a tournament setting, it's going to be very like it'll impact that sort of setting. But it's good for like the lobbies that were getting griefed by this. Various client and server performance improvements. Nice, we love to hear that. Added streamer setting options panels, causes player names in the game UI panel to be hidden. That's nice. Streamer mode, just basic in a lot of games now. Melee trainer bot in the gym area of the hero sandbox. So here, I guess you can practice like parrying. It's nice. Okay, let me get away from this guy. Added new game out of date status message at the top of the HUD so you can quickly know when there's an update rather than figuring out a queue time. I think that's up here at the top where my cursor is. I saw it a second ago before I updated my game and restarted it. In the box now. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Fix profile match history, not remembering the history page you're on. Oh, that was a nice change. If you go into profile now and you're trying to view your match history, look for a certain match, if you click on it, it would always take you back to page 1. But now if I like click on like this match, for instance, and I go back, I'm still on the second page, so I can quickly sort through my matches. Added heal amp and debuff resist to the vitality stats in the shop. Okay. Heal amp right here. What's crit reduction? Interesting. And debuff resist. Right here. That's nice. Hero details on the dashboard will now show spirit information with alt rather than requiring you to be in game. This was added in a hotfix patch recently. So I guess it means in here. So if I press alt, I can see how it scales on the spirit, and I don't have to go in game. You can even see on innate move speed for 7 and probably for weapon on haze. Yep. The game will now prevent any quick ability upgrades for up to 2 seconds after death to prevent against accidental upgrades. I think this change was much needed. It was probably the most annoying bug in the game. You just randomly upgrade one of your spells, like you're trying to save AP for on 7. I try to save for tier 3, and it's just really annoying when I randomly just have a skill point in static charge or lightning ball that didn't intend. I'm sure everyone's experienced this at least once. Can now reliably spectate a friend's game via the friends list. Very good change. Miscellaneous fixes to friends and party menus. Nice. Added unavailable state to zipline UI when zipline is on damage cooldown. I don't know if I'll be able to show this. Spectating controls now use left, right mouse button to switch between players on a team and space to switch teams. Now works with free cursor mode. You can still click on portraits and minimap to spectate individual heroes. It's a good change. I think they need to revamp a lot of different spectate things. Mostly, I think they need to add like fog of war as an option, so you can't see both teams' POVs at the same time. Added new respawn countdown music 5 seconds before respawn. Good change to like help people be more aware that they're about to come up and can play the game. Added alternate shop music in which plays in the neutral shop. Picture count is now shown in game. Great change. Player names are now shown to the spectators. It's also a good change. Object motion blur. I don't like motion blur, but it's probably useful. Optimized performance of distance field ambient conclusion. No idea what that means, but better performance means less lag, so it's a good change. Fix selling an item, not removing charges correctly. Now you can't buy extra charge and immediately sell it to keep that ready charge. It's a good change. You used to be able to, like on like Wraith for instance, with her 1 card. If you bought extra charge, you get the extra charge and you get a card ready, but you could sell it again and then buy it, and you would have 2, and you could just keep doing this until your max cards. You can do it on anyone with charges. Fix some tooltips not showing golden statue bonuses if it wasn't a direct stat, i.e. you got fire rate, but bullets per second usually golden statue. It's a good change. Fix sharpshooter showing up in stats for bullet velocity even though it doesn't increase your bullet velocity. Good change. Fix a bug that caused items in the build page to not be dimmed when the shop was out of range. Yeah, that was an annoying one where you try to buy, you thought you bought, and then you didn't actually buy and you're just walking around with all your souls unspent. Fix the bug with Lash not hearing his own ground strike impact explosion sounds. Okay. Added new effects for Withering Whip. Okay. And they updated ethereal shift effects. Okay, let's check this out. Let's go back to the demo. And that's weird. Oh, like thud. Oh, it looks like a skull now or something too. I think that's new. Interesting. And there's E shift ones, right? Yeah, it's more like a sphere around you instead of like a swirling vortex. I think it's much more visually clear. It also changes your model color, it looks like. As I don't think it did. Fix the disarm spinner not showing up on your crosshair when you get disarmed. Okay, so you have a little disarm in the center, which much more clear that you're actually disarmed. Fix parts of Shiv's coat being considered as a headshot. Alright, that's funny. I didn't know this was a thing, but I'm guessing that if you were Shiv, this part, your coat was part of your head. It's weird. Build list will now refresh if you change heroes in the sandbox. Wasn't this already listed? Fix zipline speed from base guardian killing and zip booster ability not stacking properly. That was a bug. I guess now that you can actually go like super fast on the zip if you boost and have the guardian. Before it didn't stack. I just thought that was intentional. But I guess you can go even faster now. Okay, I finished killing the guardian, so this is how fast it is without the boost active and just the guardian. It's decently fast. And this is how fast it is with the boost and the guardian skilled. It's much faster. They like made the character model go, the character camera go further behind. Fix base guardian boost not properly doing its ramp up and instead instantly being fast. Okay, I noticed that immediately when getting on without the boost active because it really felt like you just went super fast. Yeah, so it's scaling. Interesting. I think it's a good change. It was really hard to like catch people if they were like on the fast zip, at least just like without their boost. Added custom effects for Abrams seismic impacts tier 3 buff. Okay, let's go test that. So it means this buff. Okay, that's cool. Let's call it immunity instead of Unstoppables effect icon. It's a cool effect, but it gives the same buff, so I don't know why it's different. Stun, silence, root, disarm. Stun, silence, sleep, root, and disarm. Yeah, it's the same. I mean, the effect looks cool, so I think it's kind of weird. Fixed a bug where someone could be holding down M1 and still be attacking on the magic carpet arrives. Okay, I didn't know this was a bug, but I assume this means that when you have magic carpet, and your woes are gonna arrive, you'd hold down left click and you would just keep shooting as soon as you start flying. It's a good change because it's not intended for you to attack on it. Added decay impact sound. Oh, that's cool effects. The cloud. I don't think that was there before. I need another bot. Remove wind and city ambient looping sounds. Okay. Volume and playback tweaks to one-shot ambient sounds. It's nice. Remove vent sounds in places where vents had been removed. Good change. Fix some spectator music bugs. That's good. Updated negative feedback sounds for clarity. Reduce likelihood of irrelevant announcer and hero dialogue lines playing during combat exchanges. Okay. Soul jar effect tinted red like minimap to make it more clear that its return location. Okay, so this is the new effect they added for the urn. Looks really nice. I like it. A little hologram. Or ethereal ghost, maybe. Match the player's low health screen effect more visible for longer if you're below 20% of your max HP. Okay. So, oh, this plugged away. Okay. Teleported model and effect updated. Ooh. Okay, we go to a teleporter. Oh, I like this. Looks very cool. I think they're probably going to update the textures and whatnot because it kind of looks unfinished. But the effect is really nice. A little swirling. It's not on you, it's in the center. It's fine. But yeah, the model itself looks like they've gotten like the shape down, but there's no textures on it. Fix Bebop being able to sprint while his gun is front up. Yeah, that's a crazy bug. Fix bullets hitting the world immediately when looking sharply upward. Okay, that sounds like a weird bug. Good change. Good bug fix. Fix Sinner's Sacrifice not always correctly animating. Those are the cases. So I guess it means actually I've seen that before. Like sometimes in the game it wouldn't like have the souls in it and it would just be like kind of blank. Okay. Nice. Some heroes can now comment on being alone in enemy territory, losing sight of an injured enemy, or leaving their teammates alone in a lane. It's a good change. I like that. I assume they're going to eventually add that for every hero. I'll let you be aware that you're kind of, if you're not looking at minimap, that you're alone. Unless your teammates know that someone's like escaping, maybe. Or that they're being left alone. Fix a bunch of minor typos and grammar errors in various texts. That's good. Added express states to zipline indicators when speed had increased from defeating enemy-based guardians. You can see it speed up. You get the little swirling effect around you. Now you're glowing a little bit. It's a good change. Alright, finally passed like the bug fixes and SFX audio changes to the Misc gameplay. It's great. Added wall jumping. Does not consume stamina. Requires input direction away from the wall. Can be done once. We're Mario now. Okay. Weird. And finicky. Be really close to the wall. Or else you're just gonna double jump. I like it. More movement tech is always cool to see. Mood flex slot from set of enemy base guardians to all enemy lane guardians. It's a interesting change. I think that I'll have to like play and see how it actually impacts, but my initial assumption is that this will make it easier to like come back in the game. Because a lot of times when you're in game where you can't get a walker and you're getting shoved out by the enemies and you just can't push to the other side of the map, and it's much easier to get 4 lane guardians than a walker, it feels like. And then this one's, it's much easier to get all 4 guardians than the base guardians as well. So even in games when you can get walkers, it's usually that second flex slot. But it also might make it easier to snowball instead. I think it won't because flex slot's not nearly as powerful. Like the second, third flex slot aren't nearly as powerful as the first. Like most builds rely on the first and can make do with like only 1 or 2. Added ropes to some buildings that let you climb up. Hold jump key to latch onto them. Get you all hanging on them. Alright, let's see this. We saw a couple already. Okay, that's weird. It looks like some roofs are now playable spaces. Some more roofs, at least. So we saw this one just now. Gives me even like more juking in the game. It's cool. Okay, it looks like all of these roofs are now playable areas. Like an invisible thing blocking me here. That's, yeah, I'll report that. Okay, the skylight area is now playable. I like this change. Good change. More verticality, always good. Okay, and you can play in this area now. Go over here again. Nice, nice. A pair of teleporters have been added to the outer lanes at the midpoint. Actually, at the midpoint near the 3 red neutral camps. I like this change. If someone's like pushing your walker, you can like flank them this way. It's good use of this area, make it more part of the map, because I feel like no one really went in this area except if the ancient camps are up or during the laning phase when you're trying to like flank someone that's camping under here or push and like harass from this angle. Four teleporters have changed locations. The upper floor teleporters have moved to street level. Oh, so these teleporters are still here. Alright, let's see this. It's another of the ropes. Oh, yeah, I wanted to see this rope first. There was this rope that replaced the jump pad. I saw it before. So instead, we have the teleporter here instead of up here. It's okay change. I don't think it matters that much. But like I've been pushing like this walker, for instance, and then I've like climbed up and teleported here. I think it's much harder to get to here than there, so it might be easier to chase people down. Trying to use this teleport to escape, at least the enemies. And then it takes you to the basement camps. Okay. Interesting. That's interesting. And this little booth. I like that. I assume it's the same for the other basement camp. Like faster to go here. So it's here again. And takes you to the basement camp. Nice. Guardians no longer give 1 AP, and AP is now added at the following soul levels. I think that's a good change. I think that makes the game like less snowbally, because I've had times when my team can't even get one of the enemy guardians, and you're just like perma behind an AP, and they can snowball. Like it's incredibly hard to fight enemies that have like a level 3 ability or like 3 level 2 abilities, and you're just gonna lose. So having it get at just soul levels is much easier. But then you can make the argument that the soul levels themselves are going to be more important. It's true. But like just like someone winning their lane, getting an early AP is going to impact every lane versus them getting an early lead. Just having more souls is only them having the advantage rather than the entire team. Yeah, I think you still get AP for walkers and base guardians and whatnot, so it's fine. Parry cooldown reduced. Interesting change. Makes parrying less punishing a little bit. Earn delivery sprint bonus increase. It's nice. Sometimes I feel like the earn takes a little bit too long before you have like a lot of mobility options. The minimum range the player must be to attack a walker is increased from 30 to 32. That's annoying. It always felt like when you're here to be a little bit too close. Yeah, like from before you had to shoot from here, whereas now you can probably shoot. Before you had to shoot from like the here, now you can shoot a little bit further. That's nice. Minimum range the player must be, yeah, can we read that? Golden statue drop rate increased by 6%. Yeah, I like that they've been tweaking this every now and then. They increase like how much you get. And they increase the scaling on them. Or the Jew closet here now. Cool. And then now they drop more. It's very nice. They feel kind of useless, like, but they're also good, so you just don't really feel the impact of them. So I think they're trying to increase that feeling that, like, hey, maybe going around grabbing these things is a worthwhile thing to do, rather than just, like, farming only. Replace some bounce pads with ropes if the purpose will go straight up. Okay, we saw that. Added 2 bounce pads next to side lane walkers at Cultural Center and Courthouse. So those are the inner lanes right here. Yes. Where does it take me? Across. Ooh. It's like an attack or jump pad. It's weird. Like that benefits more the enemy team than your own team. Remove some rooftop zap volumes and damage layers. Several buildings are made taller to make their rooftops out of bounds. Several buildings are made shorter to make them more accessible. So amber. Left side amber is here. I mean this roof. Okay. Okay, there's a zipline here now. And opposite over there for sapphire. It's cool. That's a very strong defensive position. Like if you play up here as Lash, Dynamo, or any sniper character, it's really hard to get to you up here for most characters. They'd have to like loop around. It's a dangerous spot for them to overextend, especially if they don't have your walker down. So it's a good area to be in. What else do we have? We also have the buildings over here. So this is still unplayable. But it probably means these that we saw earlier. The skylight from the storage room. I play on top of this building. I don't really know what it's called. Little piped passageway you could use. Though there's this random invisible thing that I need to fix. And I like this little nice looking decoration with ghost birds. Got some ghost birds. Few new buildings have passageways, higher floors along the way to the rooftop. Oh. Okay, so it's like over here. The thing here. Okay, so you can go in here instead. Interesting. This used to just be a small juke closet. They decided to make it go through. I think it's a good change. That juke closet's still there. And then there's a new thing right here. I'm pretty sure there's a new juke closet. Breakable containers have been added to the new playable roofs. We saw that. Juke closets have been replaced with the previous location of the upper floor elevators. We saw them. Like right here, where the teleporters used to be. The half of the underground tunnels towards the outer lanes has been made wider. Okay, I think I saw that. It was the underground areas. Not this one, but this one. Those feel wider here. And there's a Jew closet in here now. Tunnel walls have now the color lane the exit is closest to. Oh, that's nice. So you're heading to orange. Or I guess this would be yellow. And this is supposed to be orange, yep. That's cool. And then on the other side it will be purple and blue. So we got blue into purple. That's a nice touch. And you got little signs in here too. I think those were there before though. Remove the archway leading to the underground shop. Not really sure what it means. Oh, there's a rope here instead of a jump pad. Archway that leads to the underground shop. I think this has been changed for sure. It feels different. This might be where they made it wider. And this might be the archway that they're talking about. Place temporary signage for interior buildings and storefronts for future reference. Nightclub, comedy club. I think these are new, but they might have been here before, and I just never noticed them. I think this is what it's talking about, though. I don't remember seeing these before. This will help with like people calling out where people are. This one looks more finished. Amber Drugstore. Other ones are probably temporary because they're probably going to stylize them, if I had to guess. Like this. Two upper floor juke spots have been converted to passages through buildings. Okay. That's the one we saw going through the jump pad area right here. Add a new upper floor juke spot to each side. I think that's what they mean. Stairwell from amber orange / sapphire blue walker catwalk to the courtyard, now less cramped. Okay, I think it means here. This is the courtyard. And the stairwell was very tight. I don't think it had this area. I think it was just straight this way, straight that way. It's a little bit more open. You can take a more direct route from this way or this way. That's nice. Lowered the statue pedestals in the inner lanes outside mid. It's a good change. I think it means these. Yeah, before it felt like really annoying to hit. So you like hit them, and you have to like climb up to get them. They're kind of like out of the way. So they probably changed it so people are more likely to go for them. It's a good change. Weapon items. Alright, we're getting item changes now. Monster rounds bullet resist versus NPC increased from 30% to 35%. I keep buffing this. Eventually it'll be good. Probably good on... It's really good item already if you are a lane pusher and you just want to try to get their guardian really fast and try to get more presence. I think all the guardians have already fallen. But it gives you damage resistance versus towers and neutrals, so you do more damage to these guys, take less damage from them. You do more damage to the lane creeps and take less damage from them, and same thing with towers. The main thing is the tower change. So you can push down people's towers and kill them fast, essentially. Hollow point rounds, small buff, 5 bullet shield. And it needs a buff. Kind of got hits decently hard. And they nerfed it from 25% weapon damage to 20%. It's still a really good item. So, small buff, just like Valve style. Alright, restorative shot, heal from heroes increased from 30 to 35. Small buff, probably underbought. My main issue, and I find a lot of other people's issues with this, is that unlike like headshot booster where it only procs when you like hit someone in the head, when you shoot this, see that green bullet, that's the restorative shot. So even if you don't hit anything, you don't heal. So if like you want healing in lane, you just get like extra regen or healing, right? Whereas this one, so most people just buy this for the bullet res and weapon damage, and like every now and then the healing actually works. Especially like on shotgun characters, when you like heal with this thing, it's like only one of your random pellets. So if that random pellet happens to not hit someone, you're extra punished. So it's really annoying. High velocity mag, bullet velocity reduced from 35 to 30%. Now has an upgrade. Okay. I think this item is really good, like on a lot of heroes, and now that has an upgrade and looks like Headhunter. Now 50% bullet velocity is really, really nice on like heroes with slow bullets like Viscus or Kelvin. It's not meaningless on other heroes. So it looks like you get a little bit more bullet health, 1% more bullet damage, plus the, innate from being a tier 3. And then your special effect is landing headshots every 6 seconds. You get 3-second move speed buff, chunk of damage, and you heal. It seems really good on some heroes. So definitely try out this on like whatever hero you play if they're a gun character. I think this is really good. It's definitely on snipers. Like I said, slower bullet velocity characters. Everyone likes healing and move speed, so I would just try this out. Like I said, active reload, life steal reduced from 30% to 22%. Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty good nerf since I think it got nerfed last patch as well. I forget from how much. I think its fire rate was nerfed. I think it's still a good item on a lot of heroes. I mean, for me, I buy this in 7, but that's mostly for the reload time and the instant reload. Fire rate's nice. Bolt lifesteal is also still nice in lane. It's like 1 or 2 banner creep healing, so like 80 to 100 healing per wave if you're hitting your bullets, and you get more healing if you hit heroes. So I'm pretty sure you get more healing if you hit heroes. The duration's reduced. Okay, small nerf. Kinetic dash active fire rate reduced from 30 to 25%. They finally nerfed this item. It's still a good item. It's particularly better on people with lower mag sizes, but still good on anyone that wants fire rate, extra ammo, and health, which a lot of the cast. Notably good on Pocket, Abrams, Haze. Haze mainly for the fire rate, Pocket and Abrams for the fire rate plus the extra ammo. Also, the extra stamina you get from the dash jump is very, very nice on pretty much everyone. So if you have a spare gun slot in your build and you think you want fire rate, it's pretty good. Small nerf. Long range. Let's see. Long range. You get 90 bullet shield health. Okay. But it looks like Sharpshooter doesn't have the headshot bonus, now just Headhunter. I think this item is kind of terrible now. You get the bullet shield health, but you don't get the headshot bonus. And very few characters want this, mainly just like Vindicta and like Gun, Grey Talon, and somewhat Paradox. It looks like the weapon damage been increased from 60 to 7%, but it seems kind of like a weak item right now, in my mind. Melee charge, just small buff, gives you health regen. Good item on melee characters if you're playing a melee build on like McGinnis or Abrams. It's a good item. Especially because the reload instantly is nice. Just +1 HP regen, very nice on those characters that like to be in the thick of it, which is kind of most melee characters. Swift Striker, now getting 10% ammo. Good buff. This item's pretty much only bought on Haze, I feel like, and maybe sometimes Wraith or Ivy. I think it's really weird there's -5% bullet res on it, but small, good buff. It's just weird because everything else in this tier kind of provides like a unique bonus, and this thing is just raw stats. So, Titanic Magazine buffed again, bullet armor from 10% to 15%. I mean, this item's got to be good at some point if they keep buffing it. I think it was already pretty decent on some characters last patch. They might buff it even again next patch if people still don't buy it. But like characters that usually want this are going to be Wraith and Ivy kind of only. Most other heroes don't really need ammo, except ultra late game. I mean, it's a nice item if you can afford it, but it's like luxury on like characters like Infernus and 7 because you want other upgrades, but if you have nothing else, you can buy this for the ammo. But mainly high fire rate, high magazine characters want this, and those are kind of limited in the cast. Notably, Haze fits that, but Haze gets MO scaling through Spirit, so you kind of just want to get Spirit items if you want MO. Like efficient Spirit items like... Oh, Whip doesn't give MO anymore, but I mean, Haze gets like MO scav, so it might be good on Haze now that like Whip doesn't give MO. Let's see what gives MO now. It's MO scav, Infuser does. I mean, you get Swift Striker giving you MO now instead. I don't know. Probably changed a bit on Haze. But yeah, Haze definitely doesn't want this. It's just better items. I mean, you don't want basic mag either in Haze. Again, because you can just scale MO with Spirit. Like, Imperial Spirit probably gives you like way more. Just like test it. Where is she? Haze. Like, so I have 25 mag size, and Satanic Mag brings me to 50 for 3,500. Ammo Scav by itself gives me 7. Not that much, right? But Imperial Spirit for the same price line, I have 8 less, but it also gives me, you know, Spirit Power, which scales duration, Smoke Bomb duration, you know, damage stats. Gives me sprint speed and HP. It's interesting. It might... I still don't think it's a good, because you just want the weapon items to be fire rate, usually, on Haze. Stuff like escalating. Burst fire is good on Haze. Anything with has fire rate on it. And MO... Titanic Mag doesn't. It's not very slot efficient. The most slot efficient MO item for Haze is Boundless. Because 63 was just one item from 25. But it looks like there's not much. Most MO items are just orange now. That they've removed it from Whip. I guess we'll get to that later in the patch notes. Toxic Bullets buffed. Health reduction increased from 55 to 65%. Bleed damage reduced. Okay. Grants 100 HP. Finally, this item gives something. I think this item was already really good against characters like Abrams, Shiv, Kelvin, tanky guys that want to heal. And they have a lot of HP, so the percent HP damage really useful. reducing their healing is really useful. Now it has like just flat stats, it's even better. It's pretty good, the healing reduction buff. It does less damage, but they're healing less, so it's okay. And getting the 100 HP is really nice. Intensifying magazine now steadily ramps down to 0% when you stop shooting rather than instantly emptying. Oh, this is a fantastic change. Not for Haze specifically, just for like Wraith and Ivy mostly. Honestly, a lot more characters can use this now because, you know, it scales. So I can see in the bottom left here. And so it looks like if I reload fast enough, I can keep it going. Great change. It always felt weird where, you know, you're not really ever going to be holding down your weapon for 3 seconds, I feel like, in this game. You'll walk around corners, you will be strafing, they'll walk around the corner, you'll walk around the corner, stuff like that. But now that you can, like, shoot, someone walks around the corner, you can walk around the corner and shoot them there. Good change. Might make it, like, really strong, though, so... Warpstone nerfed again. Still a good item. This thing used to be 60%, now it's 30%. I was more sad about when they nerfed the resistances that they removed the sprint speed from it last patch. So mainly you want to get this to dodge abilities and more mobility, so the damage reduction isn't the best part about it. It's still nice. Sharpshooter, again, we saw this. It gets bullet shield instead. Doesn't have the bonus headshot damage, and it's buffed a little bit. Again, only really good on sniper characters, probably, and it still seems kind of bad. But the bullet shields will help you tank up a bit on those sniper characters, like Vindicta, Retail, and notoriously squishy characters will benefit from a little bit of this. And they could even consider going like Veilwalker. I know some Great Helm builds get like Enchanter's Bear. Looks like they changed this as well. So, I mean, I don't know if they want Veilwalker necessarily, but it could be something to consider. Burst Fire active duration increased from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. That's a great buff for like Haze, Wraith, Ivy, anyone who wants fire rate with high mag size again. On Haze buffs, or changes, I guess. Another consideration of the slide distance of this is it's kind of a mag size increase because when you're sliding you have infinite ammo. So 4 seconds instead of 3 seconds, like what, 33% increase of duration of movement speed and fire rate. Really good. I mean, I think this item was already good, so getting buffed, it's very nice. Escalating resilience buff, 36 to 40%. Okay, I think this item's even better on Haze. I know a lot of Haze builds take Tesla. I think this item sucks on Haze, but I don't play her that much. But I just don't see the point of getting this. It gives you fire rate. Consider like the proc damage is like nothing, especially on Haze when you're building up fixation stacks to do like crazy amounts of damage. The proc's like nothing. It doesn't really help your farm when most of your damage on Haze is your fixation anyways. And escalating is the same fire rate plus makes you tankier. And that was even third. I thought this item was just better than Tesla already. Now it's even better. It's 40% bullet res. This is good again. Fire rate characters are going to be really good this patch. They all getting all their items buffed with fire rate. Fire rate items like burst fire, escalating, so striker. It's kind of crazy because it was 36%. It's another 4%. Doesn't seem that much, but you know, small incremental buffs will make items good. Alchemical Fire buffed. I think this item's already good. Also, Heroic Aura buffed good. These are both very similar items in that they're really good at taking towers, and you probably want one of them per team at least. So if you're a more support-minded character or player, I would consider picking up one of these in your build if you can afford it. This thing is great at taking walkers. You just throw it at its feet, and you and your team just do 50% more damage. Same thing with Heroic Aura. 25% fire rate is no joke, especially when a lot of characters aren't buying fire rate, so they'll just be doing 25% more damage because they have no fire rate in their build. Same with Alkfire, if they don't have much gun items, it's just 50% more damage. And Heroic Aura, the move speed, Heroic Aura gives 3 move speed is a lot. Lets you get out of a lot of things, reposition better in fights, run away, chase down. If you ever played Dota, this item's a lot like drums, except that has no charges. It works on minions, yourself, mechanist turrets. So it's a good item. And Flask like this, really good at like stopping pushes. Like no one wants to stand, so it's like an area denial. Because if they're staying, they're taking more damage and just dot damage. And if you get to reach in your build, I think this thing can full clear like a minion build or a minion wave, especially if you just have a bit of spirit items. Added new tier 3 weapon item, Headhunter. Yeah, we saw this. I think this item's probably pretty good in a lot of heroes. It's really far, like really fast. Like look at that, it's like a laser. I mean, I can barely notice it on haze, but 50% is a lot. And it's much more noticeable if you're, you know, play like a Headhunter Sharpshooter on like a Vindicta or Great Helen. And beam people if you're a aimer. Siphon bullets, weapon damage reduced from 40 to 28. That's a huge nerf. I mean, 12%. That's something that's a pretty big nerf. A lot of people would get this as their first 6300 because, you know, 40% weapon damage is a lot. Like 40% is to what? Losing 30% to glass cannon, but you get the siphon permanent thing, and you're not losing your max HP. So it's very efficient, like the most efficient. So like if you just want pure damage, 6300, and maybe you could get tankier. Probably still a good item on people that want to get permanent HP, or like if you're interested in long attrition fights, you know, build up more and more stacks. You get to like 10, 20 stacks, you know, 450 HP in a fight is pretty good. And just getting permanent HP again is really good. Frenzy, ammo increased from 9 to 12. That's kind of crazy. This item's already really good on characters like Abrams. Anyone with low mag size just wants flat ammo items, like Berserker and Frenzy. For move speed, when you're below 40% HP is great. 40% fire rate is great. 45% spirit res is really great. So just being tanky with high ammo size, pretty good. Also just gives you 200 HP. It's not like the biggest buff, but ammo is really nice. Lucky shot proc chance increased from 30 to 35%. This item is pretty good on haze already because when it procs, it gets you a second fixation stack. That's why you see it in haze builds. This item's okay. You don't see it that much on a lot of heroes. Mainly because like in like Dota or League, I guess, crits like scale your damage. This thing just adds a flat 80% rather than multiplying your damage by 1.8 times. So it's not a multiplier, just additive. Not very strong. I feel like the movement slow part of it is better. But yeah, it's small buff. I just think it needs a little bit of tweak in like how it works. But crits might not just belong in this game at all, and that's probably why they didn't add it. They might have had it before. Ricochet balance damage increased from 50 to 60%. It's pretty good. I think it was 40% a couple patches ago, so they've been buffing it a bit. Or it might have been 45% than the 50. Not applying spirit damage from Vindicta and Wraith. Okay, so better on Vindicta and Wraith. Still a weird item. I've seen people recommend this for farming. It's okay, but like you don't super need it. It's a good item on haze again because you can do like the Ricochet silencer, improved range, Exodia with your ults to like have a really good ult. Even outside of that, Ricochet's good on Haze because of fixation. Also good on Infernus somewhat, but definitely not like the first 6300 you want to go in my opinion. The buff, it's pretty good though. From 50 to 60%, 20% buff. Jesus, that's a 20% buff. Vitality. My ladder still buffed again. For this last patch, they buffed it from 30 to 35%, so now it's 35 to 40%. This item was already pretty good in sustaining in lane. Before, even if you're only using it on creeps, now it's even better. So, if you're a character that buys this, or you buy this on like any of your characters, it's even better. I've seen this on Yamato, I've seen this on Abrams, I've seen this on the Goo Boy. Yeah. And could be a viable option, alternative healing right and extra regen. So try it out if you melee at all in this game. Healing right buffed again. I think it was 70%, 70 seconds cooldown last patch. No, down to 65. Now it's down to 60. Good change. I mean, I think this item's pretty good already in lane. Like if you're in a heavy harass lane like Grey Talon, I mean, everyone knows what I'll just use Grey Talon as an example. Anyone who harasses you for a lot of damage, you definitely want to get this item. If you get low in lane, you don't want to back. I mean, this item is useful even outside of lane. If you're got into engagement, you're farming camps, you just sustain with this. Especially if your build doesn't demand a lot of green slots, it's a good item. Down here, Divine Barrier changes. Doesn't give you bullet res anymore or HP regen. Gives you sprint again, gives you flat HP, and gives you ability range. It's really weird. They're adding reach and stuff to other items besides the 6300s. So it's very interesting. If your hero that wants reach could be a very good consideration. Sprint speed is one of the best stats in the game in my opinion. You love to be mobile, especially if you're like a chain ganker or just more map presence always good. So it giving ability range and health makes you tankier. You don't get the res anymore or the HP regen, but I think it's good. Combat Barrier and Enchanter's Barrier give you fire rate and cooldown reduction respectively. So barriers have been buffed again. I think last patch they got buffed on like their, raw weapon damage and spirit power. Now they give you cooldown reduction and fire rate as well. I think those are pretty good if you bought them already in Veilwalker. So you're probably really happy if you're one of those characters. Might make people go Veils and barriers a lot more. Only issue I have with these items is they're conditional. So when you have them, they only work when your barriers are up. And if you're an initiator, probably don't want these because they're just gonna get popped. But if you're a long range character and like Talon loves enchanters, especially more now because he has cooldown reduction. So like the Owl spam build's gonna be really happy. More cooldown reduction. Just all the time essentially. If you're not, you should be really far. So squishier characters that aren't really in the limelight in fights like to stay in the sidelines. Gonna love these buffs. Veilwalker got a small buff as well, looks like. Small cooldown reduction. Just 1 second more uptime. It's pretty good. Reactive barrier duration nerfed. They really I think they hotfixed this so it has less or more cooldown. Having the duration nerfed, good change. When I first saw this item, I had duration extender. It was like 16 seconds duration. Kind of crazy. So having less durations need a nerf, I feel like. Healing Booster now has 15% heal reduction resist. Leech no longer has it. So it looks like Leech got a nerf. It's kind of sad. I was a fan of this item, but it's probably good. 15%. It's okay. I mean, this item's still good on people that want it, like Abrams, Kelvin. Anyone that has innate healing in their kit kind of wants this. And Losing the 6% bullet res kind of hurts, but it's okay. Now you don't really need leech on those heroes as much. I mean, some of those heroes didn't really want leech. Like Kellen and Abrams probably don't want leech anyways, so having it on here is definitely happy for them. They're just sad they lost the bullet res. Probably better anyways. Yeah, I mean, they can just get like bullet armor, so. Superior stamina nerfed again so it was 50% to 40% last patch. Now it's 40% to 30%. Characters that buy this mainly Lash. Very sad. It's still a good item because stamina getting away from people. Very strong. Metal skin cooldown buffed again. This is huge. I think it was buffed from 30%, 30 seconds to 25 seconds last patch. Now it's 25 to 22. This item is really good into auto attackers, but the main issue with it is Seven and Infernus can both proc through it, and people can proc toxic bullets through it. But other than that, good item. Also becoming immune, like if you're getting like chain meleeed by an Abrams, great item against Abrams as well. And if you have improved CD, even just this and like this, if your character loves these items, probably love this item as well. 4-second duration, 18-second cooldown. It's pretty good. Rescue beam channel duration reduced, so the heal the same amount in less time. It's pretty good. I think this item's already really good. You play 1 or 2 per team optimally. The sprint speed's nice, so any like support character, in my opinion, I think this game's gonna end up with like 2 support characters like Dota has. Especially since there's only 4 lanes of farm. Kind of just want people to get 100 souls each and not split that to 50 souls. But that's like optimal. I'm not really sure what the meta game will develop. But having at least one of these is really good, especially against characters like Mo and Krill, Bebop, Dynamo. Like you can pull people out of Black Hole. If Mo and Krill's comboing someone, you pull them. Mo and Krill will pull back with them, but you still save them from the rest of his team. You might even kill Mo and Krill. Anyone that gets Bebop hooked, you pull them. Healing people faster, like outside of like saving them, really nice. Life Strike just got buffed again, just like Melee Lifesteal. Not as relevant because you're probably, but it's still a little bit nice. This thing got buffed last patch from 13 to 12. Now it's 12 to 11. Good changes. I always felt like it was a little bit too long. Really feels weird when you're in that like stasis. They're probably just finding the sweet spot for it, not making it too OP, but making it not feel terrible. And it's a good item, mainly on initiators that want to like chain gank. Notably, like Paradox loves this item. 2 move speed out of combat, really nice. You know, you swap someone, you're gonna take damage on the rest of their team, and then after you get out, you can heal it off and have more map up time essentially. The weapon damage is nice on Paradox as well because it'll proc on your 3. Generally, at the start of the fight, you're casting your 3 and then your ult. So it's good. Good anyone that wants map up time, chain ganks. Veil Walker, we saw this. Majestic Leap cooldown buffed. Really good item. If you like Pocket loves this item. Anyone that likes to gank and can use this item effectively. And if we look at this item on 7 for ult 7, I think that build is terrible. 7 doesn't really want this item, in my opinion. As a 7 player, like that build works against people that don't know the items exist in this game. If you ever run into a 7 and you cannot deal with his ult and your team's just dying to it, like noobs, by curse or knockdown, just cast them on him and it will cancel his ult. Leech, no longer we saw this. Unstoppable can now be cast while channeling, cooldown reduced. Good changes. I still think this item's a little bit weak, but if I can use it during channeling, it means that Dynamo, Haze, 7 all got indirect buffs, and that they don't have to pre-pop this, and they can pop it reactionary. So like if Seven's ulting, and then someone puts a knockdown on him, that counters that, but Curse is really hard to react to, so if they don't pre-pop it, in Curse's case, they're probably dying. My biggest issue with this is it doesn't give you spirit res. I mean, it gives you 15% spirit res, but none while active, so you kind of just still pop even if you activate this. But you definitely need this in late game team fights, and if you play Dota, this is just BKB. It's a good item, especially into chain CC. If they're buying a lot of curses or a lot of knockdowns, whips, anything, and just chain spamming that on you because you're carrying, you need this item. If you rely on popping your Hazels and you want to just ult them all down, you need this item. If you're playing ult 7 for some reason, you need this item eventually. But if you get it too early, you're not going to do anything. So towing the line between getting this item and not getting it is something you just have to play test. Soul Rebirth, cooldown reduction increased, okay? Gives Spirit as well. And, I mean, feels like they're just buffing the fuck out of Grey Talon Bird build, because he already wants Enchanter's Barrier cooldown. They increase the cooldown on this, which people get. Increase the Spirit Power in this, which people already got on Grey Talon. So, people who bought this already are going to be really happy. I know Lash gets this. Probably, I don't know about Yamato, but like I know Grey Talon gets this. But you could try this out on some people. Anyone like CDR and Rezzing. It's mainly the CDR, I think people are getting this before. So it getting buffed and just getting random 12 spirit power, really nice. They fixed a bug with it where you could just buy during its period. It's a funny bug. Fixed camera moving away from the player if you respawn rather than following the ragdoll. It's good. Slow increased. Colossus slow increased. So that was a 35% slow on dash speed and move speed. That's kind of crazy, because I'm pretty sure that's the Colossus dash speed. So you're stuck in the dash animation longer when you are slowed by it, rather than whip. It slows, or sorry, slowing hex will slow your movement, like their distance. This one will slow the animation time. I think this item's already decent if you're like a melee character, but it's very underbought and not a lot of people play melee, so that's probably why it's getting buffs. Shadow Weave, Spirit Health increased from 200 to 300. Spot Radius reduced. Okay, this item was already pretty good if you like ganking, and fire rate, and spirit power. So being able to like just get a little bit closer, have a little bit more engage HP, it's really good. Phantom Strike nerf, saw this coming. Kind of a small nerf. I thought they were gonna nerf like the damage scaling on it. They just went for the cast range for now. It's still pretty good, 25 cast range. It's not 94, it was 30. Now it's 25. It's sad, but people who buy this will still get it. There's gonna be have to cast from 5 meters closer. That's about it. Normally it makes it so that if you have like reach and it's not scaling as hard. You're still going 15% further, but 15% of 25 is a lot less than 15% of 30. So it's adding less meters to the Phantom Strike overall. And most scab health increase from 50 to 60. This item was already pretty good on some heroes. If you like spirits, MO, and health, you should buy this MO in lane. This item in lane. Normally, you just shoot your souls in lane, and you get what, like 26 souls, 24 soul spirit power. Sorry, if you're just consistently hitting your last hits. And you just keep your MO up in lane 2, so it's good. Good item. Extra charge, cooldown reduction increase from 8% to 10%. So anyone that has charged on the skills or is happy, small buff to them. Spirit Strike debuff duration increased from 8 to 13. It's pretty good. 12 seconds, or sorry, 5 seconds more of minus 12% spirit res. Pretty good. Increase the spirit shield health by 15. It's also good. Extra spirit got 10 health buff. This item isn't too great in lane, but still a good item on some heroes. I think that Spirit Strike changes is a very niche item. There's some things you can do on some characters, like if you're melee range on like Warden and you melee then cast this, if you flask then melee, like light melee, it'll proc this before the flask lands. I think it's a very niche interaction where you can do stuff like that. I think the only reason people get this is in melee builds just for the melee damage, though. It's very, I mean, you can get on beam up as well, because your one counts as this and it'll proc it, I'm pretty sure. Like if I go beam up and buy Spirit Strike, and it procs it, you see the 50 damage. Is there like no there's no icon above them, the Spirit Res, which is kind of weird. I think it needs a icon like Mystic Vuln, for instance, has. If I have this, you can see it, but you won't be able to see the Spirit Strike decrease. But small buff to it. Whip no longer gives you ammo, gives you fire rate. They nerfed it again, but they buffed the cooldown. So nerfed the fire rate on it, buffed the cooldown. I think it was a good item on Haze still, because the fire rate feels weird. I mean, it's more uptime, but less. It's not as strong when it's on them. Still a good item on people that want it, and it's good against characters that love their fire rate and hate their fire rate slowed. And it's good against characters like Abrams. Abrams kind of like hates getting this fire rate slowed because you generally don't get fire rate speed increases, and Abrams loves just chunking people with his gun. But when his fire rate so slow, it can lead you to miss shots because you'll start shooting and then holding on left click and then just move. So you have to like tap fire instead of holding on left click. Quicksilver no longer, I think is a good change. No longer has a reload penalty. I hate the negative effects on some of these items. Like originally, Titanic magazine had like reload time increase as well, and just like it feels really weird to have a downside to your items. It's a good change. Suppressor health regen reduced, and fire rate reduction reduced. So a small nerf. This item's still good on characters. I mean, Abrams likes this item. Anyone that can do a little bit of spirit item wants to be tanky likes this item. Or they can proc it easily. Like McGinnis can proc with their turrets. Same thing with Mystic Slow. Infernus likes this item as well. Improved cooldown, small buff from 15 to 16%. Surprising. I think they buffed it last patch as well. This item was already pretty good on people like Pocket. Anyone that's like a spellcaster wants to rotate their abilities over and over again. Improved our duration extender, HP regen buffed. I think this item's already good on some tanky heroes that want duration. Notable heroes are Abrams, Kelvin, Mo, and Krill off the top of my head. You'll like this item. Anything like Abrams increases his stun and charge duration, increases seismic impact, debuff immunity duration, and the stun duration. Increases his one duration. It's a good item. And just the flat HP and HP regen is nice. Slowing Hex projectile speed increased by 30%. It's fantastic. I felt like it was way too easy to react to before. You just cast it on like an Infernus and he just Naruto run away anyways and wouldn't not care because it wouldn't disable it fast enough. Much harder to react to. And it would also be really hard to catch lashes with it because they can just run away with it with chain spamming grapple. Slightly buffed the cooldown on it. I think this item's already pretty good. It did get nerfed where it doesn't cancel people's active things, but like you have like knockdown for that, so I think it's fine. The real thing is this thing's kind of really good for slowing people's stamina. Like it really feels like you're in mud when you get like caught by this thing. So rapid recharge got charge count nerf, but it got faster charge time between abilities and cooldown time. So you can cast them between each other faster and they come up faster, but you have less burst window. And it's a good change. Kind of felt crazy, like for instance, like Kelvin could have like 5 grenades ready with rapid recharge. Now we can only have 4, but he has more uptime with them. So with he can cast between them faster and their charge refreshes faster, but he can't have 5 anymore. So it could be considered a buff in one regard and a nerf in another. Knockdown buff. Okay, so it reduces the stun, but it lets you interrupt people in 2 seconds instead of 3, and it increases the cast range. So now this thing is like, they're heavily intending you to use this to cancel people flying in the air, notably 7, and characters like Vindicta and Great Talent, you can just cast from like too far. Also, Old Bebop, who just sits in the air, beaming you for 20 seconds. Great item against him. And same with Curse. Curse is much worse because it only has 20 meter cast range. See, it is 20 meters. This is 45. So great item against these flyers, and it's kind of what they moved away from. You don't get slowing hex against these guys anymore. You get knocked down. Silence Glyph duration reduced from 3.5 seconds to 3. Small nerf, still good item against like Geist, Yamato, Pocket. Feels kind of weird. I mean, it still gives you the damage, so it's not a terrible item. It just, they nerfed the scaling by a lot. But it does give sprint speed. I feel like it should maybe give you like flat spirit, but we'll see what they do. It's in a weird spot right now. Normally Pocket likes this item. Pocket likes any item that gives flat damage on use. This one does less damage in Cold Front now. It used to do a lot more. But I think it was more upfront, using a lot of spirit to scale it. Scale Cold Front past it. Torment Pulse damage scaling increase from 0.2 to 0.24. Anyone that buys this item, like Yamato mainly. I think Yamato and Mooncrill are kind of the only people that want this item usually. It's good. They've been buffing this item incrementally every patch. They made it work with cooldown. They made it hit 2 targets. Now they made it scale a bit harder. I'd like to maybe see it hit 3 targets, but not be too much. And in my mind, I wish it hit every target, but that'd be probably way too strong in this game. Surge of Power buff from 28 to 34. So I like this change as a 7 player. I think this item's still kind of niche. I think only characters I've ever seen build this are Grey Talon, 7, and Yamato, because they have pretty high scaling abilities. Yamato's 1, Grey Talon's 1, 7's 3. All like this ability, or item rather. I do think it needs a bit of a buff, so it's a good buff, because before it was pretty comparable to just getting improved spirit. Like, you get 7 less, now it's 13 less spirit power. It's a pretty good chunk if you kind of just want to invest in one ability. So 7 really likes this item, and it's a good buff indirectly for 7. and Great Talon mainly. I don't think Yamato builds this that much. I think this item needs a bit more just like flat stats. But it might be good where it is now. But most people won't get this because, yeah. But I mean, if you have a short cooldown ability, like I think it might be good on like Kelvin. Let's see. So it gives you only 10. Oh no, okay. So let's see. So we go from about 300. Let me just get rid of all this shit. Rapid recharge, improve cooldown. If you're going like one build, 275 to 320, and every time you cast it, or I guess every 3 times you cast it, and with 8.4-second cooldown, you have pretty good uptime. You'll probably always have this one off cooldown if you're not spamming your nade. But no, it's something to consider. Superior duration, non-imbue duration, and creation 24 to 26. It's pretty good. I feel like they've been buffing duration and cooldown like every patch. I already think these items are pretty good, so these incremental buffs to it, pretty good. Improved spirit, gotten more health regen and more health. Small buff to be able to get this. Like again, high spirit scaling characters like Great Talon, Yamato 7. I'll like this item and Boundless. So small buffs to them. Improved reach, got another buff to the spirit. This item's already pretty good on a lot of characters. Getting this item on some characters can let you stop pushes completely, which I don't see people really talk about that much. See it in the Paradox channel, but if you just go like Paradox, for instance, or Ivy even, with your AoEs, in case you're one, like so this is Ivy's 1, there's no reach. And if you get Ivy with improved reach on her 1, you just throw this at a minion wave and like completely stall pushes or cut waves very easily and safely. I mean that very good on like supporting roles. If you're playing more of a support character, or if you can fit this in your build, very strong. And especially now that you compare this, so let me throw this at like the center of the 50. So it goes to about here. And if I get Divine Barrier, cheap 8% ability range, good on support characters, man, it's very small, but it's slightly noticeable. So it's something to consider as well. If you want the range, you get the barrier now. And barriers are good active anyways, especially in more supporting roles. Even on not supporting roles, it's a good early game item. Like on Paradox, Paradox likes this item, especially now it gives sprint speed, even better. Anyone with AoE denial likes reach, or some Geist nade. Like sustained area denial. I mean, so Geist nade can do this. It's pretty big. We get improved reach. Pretty huge. Like it's pretty huge area denial. Like you'll just like avoid this. Even if it's not that much damage, it's 20 damage per second with only no sphere items. It'll just avoid it, and it cuts minion waves just like Ivy's will, just like Paradox's bomb will. Just the bomb. It's only this big with improved reach. It's this big. And also good when you're attacking. Like if this is like their battlements with the window and like their base runs are here and throw underneath them, they don't really want to sit in that window anymore and shoot you. So they're just gonna take a bunch of damage, like 400 damage, 500 damage, with only this. What's more damage, even more spirit scaling. Curse Slight Nerf. Duration. Okay, it's a good item. So they're nerfing a bit. I don't know if it was too prevalent, but small nerf, still a good item. Mostly to cancel train ult ults like Dynamo like instantly for your team. If they don't have BKB or sorry, Unstoppable. Magic Carpet changes. You're now unstoppable on Magic Carpet. The cooldown's reduced, and the barriers last afterwards. I don't think they lasted before. This item might be like usable now. Like if you like to split push a lot, might be really good on like Mo and Krill because Mo and Krill likes duration. Spirit power is pretty okay, and he can burrow and then cast this. And normally you're slowed by a lot when you're burrowed. Now you can't be, so that's pretty good. So even if they have like slowing bullets or anything, you kind of get away after you split push, especially if you have like high base move speed from like items or whatnot. I'll probably try it out. I'm not sure how good it will be. Echo Shard buff just gives you 8 spirit power. Item's already pretty good on niche characters. Like you can consider this on like Paradox. Like anyone with AoE can like this item because you can just Echo Shard your AoE and just have more area denial, right? It's kind of niche. You could try it out, see if you like it. It's good on Bebop because you can do the bomb builds where you can just put 2 bombs on someone. Like this. So you like hook, put 2 bombs on them, and knock them away. You have like high bomb scaling. I've seen like you'll get to like 1,000 damage on this. Kind of crazy. Because Bebop gets permanent damage every time he bombs an enemy hero, and if they're an AoE like this, then he'll get 2 stacks in this case, from 5 to 10%. So that's a use case for it. It's pretty small buff. It's good on McGinnis, so you can like either double wall, you could have more turrets, turret spam, stuff like this. Anyone that doesn't really need their ult to do good or has like really strong base abilities. Escalating exposure, base spirit reduction increased from -12 to 15%. So buffed it last patch to have the Mystic Phone innate to it, which I think it probably should have already had. Now it's just a little bit better. Notably, this thing isn't debuff reducing. The effect of it, it just provides spirit amp. It's kind of interesting. I think it's a good buff. Items still kind of hard to love, but they increase the frequency on it and stuff. It feels like most characters that want to get this want it as their like second or third 6300, not their first, just because it's more like do more damage item rather than enable part of your kit. Like Mystic Reverb for Yamato is a 1.4 times multiplier on her one, and makes her do like big AoE damage and stuff like that, gives her lifesteal. This thing just do more damage, kind of, if that makes sense. Refresher just gives you bullet res. Good buff. Still, it's a great item. I guess they're kind of going with philosophy of like Refresher in Dota just gives you a lot of mana and health regen. Maybe they could give this thing health regen. It's obviously a great item because it refreshes your ults, especially really good on characters like Dynamo because you can double ult or just have more uptime overall because you can refresh your ults. So, great item. Boundless Spirit reduces sprint speed, but it gives you weapon damage. I think that's fine. It gives a lot of sprint speed, but yeah, losing only 1 for 20,000 weapon damage is a pretty good trade-off. Especially people that usually buy Boundless Spirit don't usually buy a lot of weapon items, so this 25% is a lot more effective than it would be like, 25% more on like one of these items because you're already going to have a lot on them. Alright, we're now on the heroes section. So we got a bunch of changes. Abrams. Infernal resilience for generation time increased from 16 to 18 seconds. This is a nerf. Kind of crazy to me that they're nerfing this thing again. I think it went from 14 to 16 a couple patches ago. Now it's 16 to 18. We'll have to see. I don't think Abrams is too strong already. It was a good character, but yeah, it's weird to me. Effectively, it just means you're healing the same amount over a longer period of time. That's why it's a nerf. Probably helps because when you killed him, when you shot him down low, he would heal it up very fast, and you'd be like, how come he's not dying? It's because he keeps healing. Now it'll be less of that effect. But I think that's what the character wants to do. So I don't know, this feels weird to me. I feel like maybe if they're nerfing it like this, they should make it so duration extender reduces the cooldown time or the healing time over it. So it nerfs him early game, but he's similar or a bit weaker late game than he used to be. I don't know. I think that'd be a good change. So he has to like sacrifice something for like the same power he had before. Abrams now does pull-ups on the zipline once again. This is a buff. Yeah, okay. That's a morale buff. I want to see this. Alright, that's pretty good. I like that. I didn't even know this was a thing. That is a buff. Big morale buff. Fix it. Shoulder charge, sometimes stunning enemies on stairs. Yeah, this is really annoying, like in lane. You could just get stuns, like right here. You're just like standing here and you're just like stunned immediately right here. Instead of like them having to hit a wall or something. Felt really cheesy in lane to just like die to that. Fixed seismic impact, sometimes not going to the area selected. Yeah, I saw this. Sometimes if you like get against like a wall or something, you would just go flying. But I've seen someone like fly across the map because of this. So, Bebop changes. Let's go Bebop now. Gun range increased. It did feel a little bit short in lane, but that was a good change. A little bit 2 meters. Not as full power as it was before, but still noticeable. Hook now only targets enemies when used by default. Oh, okay. So now you won't accidentally hook your allies when you're trying to hook an enemy, and you'll just hook an enemy through them. Okay. But you can also choose, if you alt cast, to hook allies. So if I want to save the ally, and does it hook? Oh, okay, and it'll go through enemies if you use it to save an ally. It's really weird, but I think it's a good change. Bebop Hyper Beam can now be cancelled by using parry. So now you can parry cancel out of it. So if someone's going to melee you, you can use your parry to have an outplay moment. It's pretty nice. Just don't accidentally hit that and get mad. Alright, Dynamo changes. Rejuvenating Aura can now be cancelled by using parry. I swear they said they could be 4 in a previous patch, but I might be misremembering. Good change. Same thing as Dynamo. Oh, that thing was Kelvin Beam that they added in the last patch. Kinetic Pulse not traveling properly when cast near corners. I assume it would get stuck if the sender, like even if the sender didn't get stuck, if the edge clipped it, it wouldn't travel. Good change. Gun damage reduced. Okay, yeah, this guy was pretty oppressive in lane. A little small nerf to his gun damage is great. Singularity cast time increased. Okay, that's good. Like they made it not instant last patch to 0.1. Decided it wasn't enough. Added 0.2. Still doesn't feel that noticeable. But it's a good change to make it more reactable too. Now it'll be easier to like E-shift if you see him warp in or warp stone out, stuff like that. More reactable too. And yeah, they decrease the base radius, which is pretty good. So it's very small now, base. Then you have a little bit more, level 2. So it's like a 1 meter. 1 meter. Just decent nerf. Okay, we have Grey Talon changes again. Alright. Close collision size reduced again. Yeah, they keep nerfing this every patch. Eventually, people will stop complaining about getting glitched by this thing. I think it needs to be a little bit forgiving, but I feel like before you only want to hit here. Now you have to be here. They nerfed the damage by 5. They nerfed the upgrade by 5 damage, so you're doing like 10 less damage at 3 AP. Which will add up over lane. Fire rate scales with spirit. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Gun Great Helens Rejoice or hybrid Great Helens. Now you're kind of incentivized to build hybrid. So if you go like sharpshooter, kinetic dash, seen people get. I want high velocity or something. You can get like you're boundless. You fly. You're getting a lot of fire rate from just this. Let's see, what's my fire rate? 19%. And I have no base fire rate. Pretty good. It's not like crazy, but you know, definitely incentivizes to build hybrid. You can use multiple air dashes while using Rain of Fire. Yeah, that's a good change. You always felt like if you get like gone on, you actually like at least have a little bit more control on the air. Route duration reduced. That's a pretty hefty nerf. 0.75 seconds. Okay, but they shifted the power to tier 2. Okay. So nerfed early, buffed later, looks like. And also applies a movement speed. So overall, it's probably better. I don't know if you get 2 points in this, probably not for a while, but now the duration is... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. So you get the slow duration instead of a root. So now they're slowed after, but not just like stuck in it forever. So it's a decent nerf. Slow is much weaker than a root. I did always feel like when you got like caught by this thing, it was just crazy for how long it like rooted you. Okay, we got haze changes now. Base bullet damage increased from 5.3 to 5.6. Okay, just a small little buff in lane. Haze Sleep Dagger impact damage happens immediately rather than after the brief drowsy period. Okay. That's nice. Drowsy period before sleep period increased, so it takes even longer for people to fall asleep. They decrease the cooldown. It's nice. Good changes for laning. Makes your one less strong, but makes her gun a little bit stronger in lane. Smoke Bomb Radius got the same treatments that Shadow Weave did, where it's less radius. So you have a little bit closer you can get to. It wouldn't like would have had to been back here before. Now you can get like this close, kind of. Fixation T2 max stacks increased from 30 to 40. Okay, so she's better now. She can go to 70 stacks now. So if you get a full clip on someone, you got a lot more damage. Even better now. That's good. Good change. She felt pretty weak the last patch, so... Bullet damage now provides +2 weapon damage to the base ability. So what, you get +7? Right. Okay. So the base ability has base weapon damage. You don't need the tier 1. Okay, that's good. Small buffs. Infernus, reduce the vertical reach. Okay, we're on Infernus now. Reduce the vertical reach on Flame Dash DPS. That's good. Really felt like you couldn't really jump over this before, but now you probably can. Actually, hold on. Flame Dash speed is affected by slows. Great change. This guy was really hard to catch before. So, even if you can just slow him a bit, you can just Naruto run, not care about it at all. I think it should be like affected by slows maybe a bit less, but it might be like an over nerf. Flame Dash Trail gets wider with ability range bonus. Ooh, yeah, so this is no ability range. This is what you're kind of stuck with. But if I get improved reach on it, Yeah, that's pretty big. I think that's pretty good. Alright, Flame Dash Tier 1 duration reduced from 7 to 6%, so if you get clipped, you're not slowed for 7 seconds, you're slowed for 6. Pretty good. It's all nerf. Furnace is really strong, so these nerfs are needed. Looks like Catalyst damage reduced from 30 to 25, but this tier 3 is 10 to 15, so he's nerfed early, the same late. It's a good change. He needs a weak at some point in the game, not just good all the time. And this Catalyst tier 2 is reduce a lifesteal. So small nerfs to him, and then he can work with range now on his 2, which I felt like it should have before. Alright, so we got IV changes now. Bullet damage growth per boon reduced from 0.55 to 0.5. Okay, gun nerfed. Her health got nerfed a little bit per boon. Her Watcher tier 2 gives you less move speed. Okay, I think it's a good change. Gun's already strong. Good that they nerfed it a little bit. IV airdrop no longer silences allies, so you can do the ulting 7 or haze again, but they do 50% less damage with it. So if you're doing this combo, it's not just an auto win. Airdrop movement made less a little frantic. I think that's the worst part about the ability, because you could just side strafe crazily. Yeah, it looks like there's more. You can't just strafe constantly. It's much better. Fix bomb disappearing if you cancel ult before dropping it before it lands. It's good. And no, that was another thing. So it looks like if before you canceled, if you cast your ults and dropped the bomb on someone, and then dropped, the bomb would just disappear midair. Self cast time increased from 1 second to 2. I think it's a great change. I think the worst part of dealing with Ivy before was she just ult herself and get out. Now she actually needs like an ally or something to escape with if she wants to cast it fast. Otherwise, she's just stuck in this animation for 2 seconds. So much more annoying to deal with, or less annoying rather, deal with when she's like split pushing. They reduced the max move speed. It's a good change as well. Make her more catchable. She definitely felt like she's a little bit too strong in how much mobility you got. During airdrop in flight, you can pitch up and down with crouch, dash, and crouch buttons. So if I crouch and up and down, definitely still a strong ult. So don't. Yeah, it's definitely still a really strong ult. And they fixed her getting stuck under bridges and in buildings while she's flying. It's good. Overall, character's still really good. I think not overly nerfed, just hit a little bit in key areas like her ults and her bullet damage and her 2 move speed, which were all probably the strongest parts of her kit. She's probably still like an S or A tier character, so I don't worry about it too much. If you're an Ivy player, let's check out Kelvin. Kelvin, now it's easier to hit people because their radius is bigger. It's good. He gets tankier now when he levels up than before. So this is effectively like 55 more HP at max level. Just a little bit buff. Max slow increase from 60 to 80%. That's kind of crazy, considering they nerfed it from 90 to 60 last patch. So it's gonna be like 80% speed and fire rate debuff. That's really strong again, I think. Arctic Beam now affects soul orbs and sessionize them. That's really strong in lane. I feel like it was a really annoying part of it that you couldn't, so that's good. And they nerfed the range a little bit by 3, but I still think it's good. They fixed ice path jitter. Okay. And they increase the heal. It's pretty good. I think Kelvin's in a pretty decent spot right now. Definitely one of the better characters in the game. He has the most impactful ult in the game, or one of them actually, for mid boss and just team fights in general. Securing mid boss with just this is very strong. That just makes him a strong character just in general. His 3 just got buffed. I think he's gonna be probably one of the strongest characters this patch because of it. But we'll have to see. That's just my prediction. Alright, Slash. Looks like we don't have any guys changes. Lash improved firing arm to be more away from the reticle. I didn't play Lash before, so I don't really know. But I think it was annoying, so they changed it. So that's good. And grapple no longer is a stamina charging huge. I think that's a crazy nerf. I thought this character is already really OP, so I wanted a nerf on his grapple, his most annoying ability, and the strongest one in my opinion. I mean, Flog is really, really strong too, but the main issue was when you grapple people, this guy was like uncatchable. Even if you got like slowing hex, it felt like it couldn't do anything because he could outrun it or just have like with superior stamina, rapid recharge. He had like he had 6 stamina plus another 4 here, plus like as these come off, so it's like 10 stamina per stamina, and he just dashing away from you like this, and you just cannot catch this guy. I think it's fine for a hypermobile character to exist. It just didn't really feel like there was any counter to it. I think no stamina regen is crazy. I thought they were gonna nerf it by making the cooldown of grapple longer, or they could either move the stamina on use to his tier 3, make it like half a stamina, like some combination of all of those. But like removing it entirely is a crazy nerf, but I still think he's gonna be a really strong character. Definitely just not as impressive as before. Paradox, just small change. Fixed paradoxical swap still going through even if Paradox dies during it. Okay, it's just a small bug fix. Pocket nerfed again. Just a small nerf to his barrage amp damage. So now without his tier 3, he's got 28% instead of 32%. And with his tier 3, he's got 38. Sorry, he's got 48% amp instead of 52. So just small nerf. And fix his amp buff not showing visually. I think that's the glowing on his gun and like the arrows. Yeah, they said they had this last patch, but I did not see it at all. That's seven changes. Alright, we got a slight 7 buff, so charge increase radius from 5 to 6, so it's probably like from here to here or something. Pretty nice. And they buffed this by 1 meter as well. So it's again probably like here to here. Like communally, it's a decent change. I don't know how much a meter is in this game, but it especially pretty good. Especially because it will improve the mileage you'll get out of reach. I don't know if it's a great item on him still, but it's definitely really funny when you imbue his 2. Like in a team fight, like people can't really get away from their team in time to not stun them. So it's definitely high impact if they can't like debuff reducer it. Because even if they E-shift or like stone form, I'm pretty sure it still hits their team. Could try out like a Echo Shard build with this guy to like chain stun the entire team. It's pretty disgusting. They nerfed his ult spirit scaling. That's kind of fine. I think ult 7's a meme anyways. Like I said before, people are just gonna stun you. But instead of his scaling as hard, you can reach maximum radius faster, and it gives you bullet resist innately. So now, well, you can go up to 55 with your first point. I think it's a great change actually. The scaling in 6 seconds is way stronger. Like in 3, that's so much faster. That's really good. It's like something the ult needed to be more useful at at levels of the game where people buy to counter your ult. Now we're gonna go on the ship. I think this character is underrated in like higher MMR. I think he's just by virtue of being the hardest scaling character in the game, he's strong, but people just don't play him correctly and get active on him. It's like his main issue. He kind of needs to scale, but once you max out your 3, you can do really decent damage with your 3 and Surge of Power timing, in my opinion. I plan to do like make a 7 guide or like a VOD review, something like that, so people can see how I play him at least. I don't know if it's the most efficient, but it's found the one I've worked for me. And he's definitely happy. A lot of the items he buys this game got buffed, like Surge. Surge buff is pretty good, especially where it's 3. And the ult change, definitely a good buff. The slight side charge buff is very nice. Alright, we're on Shiv now. His gun got nerfed, okay. So fall off range reduced. So his bolts will fall off, make it more like a shotgun. And he does less gun damage. He gets less HP. Cumulatively, that's like 66 HP at max level. Decently noticeable. They nerf his Slice and Dice. I think this is the most oppressive ability. So half value on creeps with this too. Good change. Because you just easily just chain farm ancients. Yeah, just keep doing this over and over. Just permanently. Small damage, just damage nerfs across his most like his 2 and his gun, which are the most oppressive parts. His deferred damage got nerfed again. It was 40% down to 35. Now it's 30%. So, total it's only defers 45% incoming damage. Is that like 50 or 60% like it was on release? And UI for ships killing more clear. So looks like it's red and it's easier to see them glowing when it will kill versus just white. And then there's like an arrow pointing to who can die. Good changes. I don't think it nerfs him to be like useless. I think he's still going to be a strong character. He's just not going to be overwhelmingly oppressive like he was before. Because he can't just farm ancients like crazy fast for free with this tier 3. You still probably can farm them decently well, I imagine. He can't soak as much damage and doesn't do as much with his 2 and his left click. Alright, we got Vindicta changes now. They nerfed stake duration again, which is kind of crazy. I think it was like 2.5 or 2.75. Now it's down to 2. And it's still a really, really good ability. So I think that's fine. We got Crow Familiar Spirit Scaling Duration scaled. So it's reduced so it doesn't last nearly as long from getting Spirit. I don't know. It's still pretty long. If you get like Duration Extender. You can definitely feel it. Like I've seen people get like 13 very easily on this character, so this ability is like super oppressive if you got hit with it. And you kind of really want like debuff reducer if you're playing against this character, because it affects their 3 and their 1, which are both really oppressive. Fixed left clicks, sometimes deselecting the ability when charges weren't ready. Okay, I'm assuming it's like this ability. Okay. It's an interesting change. I think she's still a good character. Her main weakness is being squishy, but she's a sniper character, so I think that the new items, the new change to this new headhunter is probably like really good on her. Like, makes her like gun feel like hit scan, I feel like. So if you are someone that can aim really well, it's a good character. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in like the barrier changes are kind of really good for her. I feel like I don't know if you go barriers on her, but you could try it out. She is a squishy character. Squishier characters and generally characters that don't heal much in combat are the ones that like barriers the most. And things people that don't have like innate reses as well. And as someone that has like innate bullet res, uh, bullet armor does much less for you, and barriers aren't affected by reses if you didn't know that. So this is just 300 HP. If you have reses, it's still 300 HP. If you have negative reses, it's still 300 HP. Alright, we got a bunch of viscous changes. This character kind of sucked last patch. They like over nerfed his ult, which is carried by it, but didn't add the power to the rest of his kit, which is really weird to me. Let's see if they made him like useful. Primary fire redesign to make it more usable, have improved damage and scaling. Okay. Yeah, his left click feels a lot more chunky, and so they scales more. So definitely, I'm not sure how much damage it'd be before, but it feels like it's definitely more. So there's an alt fire's limited range that does AoE damage that cannot headshot. So it's slower. Okay, and it only goes like that far. Interesting. Yeah, but it can't headshot. So it's 62. Okay, but it does more damage. Probably useful when you're trying to do bursts. Definitely probably less DPS than just left clicking. Definitely try it out in game sometime. Splatter spirit scaling buffed. Second and third hit damage increase from 66 and 33 to 70 and 50. Good buff. I think they over nerfed this ability when they nerfed that. Still probably definitely much better. Pearl Bunch damage increased from 10% to 100%. Sorry, from 100% to 110%. So you do more damage if I light melee this guy. 63. If I heavy punch him, 70. Alright, Puddle Punch, sorry. Puddle Punch tier 2 is 50 damage, plus 50 damage, and plus 20% move slow. Was minus 10% cooldown. So they move the cooldown from tier 2 to tier 3. That makes it much less oppressive in lane. I feel like it's a huge nerf. Because you can't get this until like, even if you're like focusing it, you're not going to get this until like 9k and like 1 Guardian. Or actually, you'll get it sooner now because they changed the AP levels. You'll probably get it like 5,200 or 800 or 8,000 if you're just like full saving for it. Delay before punch increased, so it's more easy to react to. I think it's kind of nice, but nerf Google scaling increased. Okay, does more damage. Acceleration increase, and then the base turn radius and radius after bouncing has been increased. So it sounds like it's easier to pilot and faster. I think it's kind of needs to have debuff immunity. I don't know. It feels really weird that you just get stunned and you're stopped. They added that and the nerfed his reses in the same patch and just kind of ruined the character. I think they needed to shift power from the ultimate to his other abilities. They buffed these two. This thing really needs a buff, I feel like, to scale with spirit, at least at tier 3. Like, I feel like it really needs it. Like, late game, this is just 400 HP, and you're having like 3k hero pulls on people. It's not enough. It needs like some sort of scaling of spirit, in my opinion. Overall, this character got needed buffs and slight nerfs to his 3. Definitely better than before. I don't know if it's like better as in not completely bad. I feel like this is probably the worst character in the game. Maybe tied with McGinnis, in my opinion. At least in like high MMR pugs, or at least in high MMR lobbies. Warden, base movement speed reduced from 6.5 to 6. Okay, this character was like Sonic, extremely fast character. And it's a good change. Slight nerf to his move speed. He's still gonna be crazy fast. It's only half the move speed. He still has his 2 insane steroid, and and usually get stuff like heroic aura, fleetfoot, and like you're just gonna press them all and still run people down. Just slightly more catchable. And they nerfed his fire rate scaling a bit. It's fine. This character felt like really strong late game, and I think he's still gonna be good. So yeah, Yamato changes. That's the last hero changes. All right, looks like a couple heroes didn't get changed this patch, like Wraith. We got Power Slash, max damage, time requirement reduced from 1.5 to 1.4. Slight buff, so you can just slash people a little bit faster. But it's easier for people to dodge. Felt really impressive in lane to like hit people around corners and stuff. So slight nerfs like GT arrow. So it can hit here, but not here, essentially. Or there, but not here. Crimson Slash radius increased from 12 to 13. I think it's a good change. Only this ability was slightly too low range. Might buff it again, but it's a good change. Fixed Winglet die during Shadow transformation if hit by Grey Talon's arrow. Yeah, I saw a clip of this, and I also saw clips of Grey Talon's arrow like one-shotting the patron and just ending the game from like not even weekend. So it's good changes. Fix some cases where Flying Strike could get stuck into a stuck state. I guess you would get like stuck against a wall or something. Good. Crimson Slash would appear to be cast when it wasn't. That sounds annoying. Probably something similar to like the Bebop bug, where you would try to put bombs on someone and just wouldn't put it on them. Which I think they fixed slightly, but it's still in the game. So, overall, again, I think the most exciting part of the patch is the map changes. Like, for me, that was I like the map changes last time as well. I think they did some great map changes this time. The new item seems pretty cool on some characters. I might try this out on like Mo and Krill. Headshot damage seems kind of crazy. The heal is nice. Bolt velocity is also good. Fire rate heroes, very happy this patch with all the buffs he's got. Try them out if you're a fire rate hero. They're sad Dash got a little bit nerfed. This item's still good, so don't be too sad. Barrier's got a bit of a buff. Try them out if you are a Veil Walker player or have never been. Like I said, better on people that don't heal. Infernus would not be a good hero in my opinion. People get it on Infernus, only Veil Walker usually, just for the fire rate. So Grey Talon, probably going to be really good with ult build this patch, I feel like, because he got Soul Rebirth, Enchanter's Barrier buffs, and you can just get anything with cooldown reduction on it and just be happy. Like there's 25-second ult cooldown with just this.